G'day everyone, Buck up in far north Queensland on some rainy old weather. It's not raining at the moment, but geez, we've had some heavy rain the last few days and absolutely belted down last night. I was going to do this out in the backyard. Can't trust the weather up here in Innisfail this time of the year. We've been getting some real heavy downpours. So I said to Roz was going to do this in the oven, and I said, no, let's do it out in the shed. I'll get a clip out of it. Everyone's wanting to see more Mrbuckaroonie cook-ups. And today, we're going to do bloody Roz's famous chicken and mushroom, and we're going to do it not in the oven, we're going to do it in Jack Turtle's poikie, guys. Now, if you're wondering what a poikie is, it's not spelt that way, it's P-O-T-J-I-E, I think is the spelling of it, South African word for small pot. And this here's a poikie, guys. It looks like a bloody camp oven, doesn't it? Only it's got 3 legs on the bottom of it. 3 permanent legs, and if it wasn't going to rain I probably would have done this and just have charcoal on the ground, but I'm going to do it in the Snow Peak fire pit, and I'm going to use this charcoal here. I really rate this stuff. I got it from Bunnings, and it's made by the Heat Bead company. It's not actually heat beads. Heat beads are a different item. They look the same. This is made out of coconut shell. It's coconut shell charcoal. That one's broken, trust me to grab one and it looks like similar to a heat bead, but it's actually charcoal. I think it's made in Indonesia, don't quote me on that. Made out of the husks of coconut shells. And I'll tell you what, it is really good. If you haven't used this type of charcoal, go to Bunnings, about 25 bucks a bag or something like that. And it's really, really good. Got a good burn time. Now listen, I've also got lump charcoal, there's some there. That's massive. That's got its place. This big lump charcoal is probably better for when you're doing an Oz spit or a spit, having your big lump charcoal for spits. But we're going to put charcoal in the bottom of the Snow Peak fire pit. And while it's nice and hot, we're going to sizzle up the chicken and that. And then as the heat dies down, we're basically just going to try and slow cook chicken and mushrooms, and special way Roz does it. You'll see that during the cook up. And the big thing, my old mate Hein Herselman, he said, Buck, I won't put my South African accent on because I can't do one. He says, don't ever stir a poikie. He said, if you stir a poikie, it becomes a stew. And I remember that, Hein, you telling me, don't ever stir a poikie. You put the stuff in there and you just leave it. Put the lid on and leave it. He said, if you start stirring it, it's not a poikie, it's a stew. But poikie is actually a South African word for small pot. There it is there. And my old mate Jack Turtle down in Hervey Bay, he got me and the dreaded chef one, sent it up to us. Thanks, Jack. This is about the only second time I've cooked with it. And I thought, time to cook with this. This is a good bit of gear. I'll give you a quick look at it. It's basically like a cast iron camp oven, guys, with 3 legs on the bottom. Got a nice big handle on the top. A lid like a camp oven. I've just given it a hose out with the hose. And there it is there, inside. So we're going to sit that, sits beautifully in the Snow Peak fire pit. We're going to have charcoal down there, and this afternoon Roz will come out and we're going to do her chicken and mushroom. It's like a chicken and mushroom bloody stew, I guess. And we're going to do some basmati rice with it. I'll do the basmati rice up in the other camp oven, in the Aussie camp oven. And I'm going to do that on another little groovy bit of gear that I got off. I saw the ad on Facebook. I'm going to show you, and I rate it. I reckon it's a really good thing. You'll see that in a minute. The gas cooker that I got off Facebook off one of the ads comes from China, but I'll tell you what, it's bloody, it does the job, it really does. Anyway, there you go. This afternoon we're going to do Roz's famous chicken and mushroom poikie in Jack Turtle's poikie. A lot of people, you've seen a lot of Yanks on there. They have got no idea how to pronounce that word. The proper pronunciation of it is poikie, and I've been told that off me Safa mates, Richard Sauer up there in Cairns, and Hein and Keithy Surf. It's called a poikie, guys. I was watching an American guy the other day, and he absolutely butchered the pronunciation of it, but he did a good cook up in it, and that's what inspired me to get out and actually do this cook up. We're going to do it in the shed. I could do it out there right now, but in 10 minutes time it could be belting down rain. So it's going to be a cook up in Buck's bloody shed out in the backyard. and we'll do the rice on this great little cooker that I got off Facebook, one of the Facebook ads. Anyway, got some time to kill. I might go in and just start setting up. We've got a nice wooden bench over there. We'll do all the prep work over there. Roz is going to roll the chicken in some flour, salt and pepper and that, and we sizzle it up in the bottom of the poikie. We'll take the chicken out, then we'll sizzle the onion up. Chicken goes back in, and then basically you just put everything in, all your stuff, and then bloody leave it. And don't stir it. I'm not going to stir it, or Hein will be right up me, everyone. There you go, Jack Turtle's poikie. I can't even remember what I did in it the first cook up. It's been seasoned, but here we go. And I did say on Facebook that I was going to do lamb shanks or a lamb shoulder in a red wine sauce. That's one I want to do out in the yard, guys, and I'll wait until the weather is a bit kinder to us. So I thought Roz is going to cook chicken and mushroom anyway, and I thought might as well do it out in the shed using Jack Turtle's poikie. So there you go. Stay tuned. Hopefully this will be a good cook up. And I'll tell you what, Roz has cooked it a couple of times now. It's bloody nice, guys. And I can get on the carbs now. I've had a couple of weeks off the carbs, off the rice, so I'm going to try and limit myself to using rice maybe just once a week now. Try and cut down on the carbs. But geez, I missed it, eh? Really, when you can't eat bread and rice and pasta and that, geez, you miss it when you can't have it. So I'm going to have it tonight. I'm going to have a nice bloody couple of spoons of basmati rice with Roz's chicken and mushroom over the top, and we'll show you how to cook that up. Got some other, I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but I've got a cook up coming up, and we're going to do coconut curry chicken, guys, and I'm going to do it on I'm going to make something out of 6 items. 6 items out of the backyard, and I'm going to make up something, and I'm going to cook coconut curry chicken in the camp ovens on that, but I've got to wait for the weather to come nice. So I've got a couple of bloody good cook-ups in mind up here that I want to do, and one's making something out of things I've got lying around the backyard. Wait till you see it. I reckon it's going to work a treat. But in the meantime, chicken and mushroom in Jack Turtle's poikie coming up this afternoon. So it's almost 3:30. I might about half a tin full, I reckon. That'll do, I reckon. The good thing about charcoal, if you haven't got enough, you just throw some more on. Righto, let's see if I can get these lit in the wind. These natural fire lighters. Righto. Whack that on. Let those light up now. See the smoke coming out? Righto, fire lighters, do your thing. Hey folks, I'm going to show you this little item I got the other day. I saw it advertised on Facebook. Anyway, I couldn't resist. I thought, it looks alright. Anyway, so the brand is Fire Maple. And it come from China, it come from overseas. And it was, as I said, advertised on Fire Maple's bloody, you know, you get all not YouTube, the Facebook ads coming up. And I thought, geez, that'd go all right in the back of the BT50 rather than the butane stove. And it runs off, the good thing is it runs off these gas cylinders here. You can get the smaller ones too that are available in any camping store or hardware. And it's the same gas cylinder that the jet boil runs off, which is another good reason why I got it. So it comes in a nice little package like this. So it's a lot smaller than a butane stove. But boy, oh boy, doesn't it piff the heat out. Holy dooly. Unbelievable. So there it is there. So we fold our legs out so it's nice and stable. 4 legs. Looks all stainless steel. There's our legs there. And then you fold these ones out on the top. And here's your, this one here. You just screw that into the top of your gas bottle. Don't cross thread it. Screw him on. There you go. Nip him up firm but not too tight. And there you go. So what you do now is, it doesn't have an automatic lighter, so I think, or has it? Oh no, it has. There you go. I just discovered it's got a little igniter here. If something goes on like a bloody jet boil on that, it'll be the electronic igniter. Turn the gas on. Wow, first pop. I didn't even know that was there. That's why I got that. I didn't realise the igniter was on there. But I tell you now, we're going to do the basmati rice on this afternoon. And the good thing is, this here, I don't know if you'll be able to see that at the moment. I'm going to turn it right up. Look at that. Turn it down, just using the little knob on the gas cylinder there. So I can turn that right down if I want to simmer something. But if you've got a wok, which we have, I always like to take a wok out bush. So if you want to do a little stir fry or whatever, and with a stir fry, you've got to get that real good heat. This would be fantastic after a cyclone and that. If you want to cook on this, get a couple of these gas cylinders when you haven't got electricity and everything. Cook inside, do a nice little stir fry with a wok. I'll tell you now, this, look at that. That really, oh, geez, I can feel the heat coming up on my face from that. And then I throw that on. The basmati rice, the sarb, I'll show you Roz's method of cooking rice. Works every time. And then bring it to the boil, put the lid on, and then we turn it right down, nice and low, and just the absorption method, and let that rice absorb the thing. So this afternoon, I'll put that on the concrete, because it'll be hot already. So there it is, fire maple. That's it there. I don't know, don't ask me for a thing, it was just on Facebook. I typed fire maple in. They've got a little smaller one too, that runs off the little butane cans. But this is the daddy of them. But have, just once again, that's well hot enough to do put a wok on and do a stir fry. Turn him off, and I'll let that cool down now. Always let everything cool down before you put it away. But look how small it is. And the legs fold up and everything folds up with the nice braided cable there into that there, and that just sits in the drawer system of the BT50 now for if I want to cook our bush. And the good thing is this is half butane, half propane, I think. So if you cook with just butane, those little butane stoves, they freeze up when you're down in the cold weather. This thing here probably won't if it's got butane and propane. So try and get the combination of both, and that should work a lot better than the butane stoves. It's certainly smaller, and it definitely pumps out a lot more heat. So great for when you're stir frying, as I said. So there you go. There's my new little cooker. You'll see it doing the rice this afternoon. And I'll tell you what, they're not a bad bit of kit. It's about $100. Be careful when you do these Facebook purchases, guys. They show you the price and you think, geez, that's not bad. It's in American dollars. So the 60 something or $70 that it was advertised for, when you go to check out and bloody buy it, next thing you know, it's $100 and you think, yeah, it was in US dollars. Arseholes. So just be careful of that when you're purchasing stuff off the internet. The dollars aren't in US dollars, but still, for $100, hopefully that'll last a long time now. It certainly looks good. It's all stainless steel, and it looks bloody really good quality. Righto, in you go. Oh, some heat there. Righto. We'll let them get nice and white. And the good thing is, if the charcoal starts burning down, you just throw some more on. They keep lighting. You can cook on that all night now. And if it gets a little bit not enough heat in it for the poikie, I'll just add some more charcoal, and the more charcoal in there, the hotter it'll be. But the poikie will go basically just sit over like that, guys. So I'm getting to sit up nice and straight. Now it's not going to do it. Something like that. And there you go. That'll heat the bottom of the poikie up. And we'll be bloody cooking with charcoal. Righto, so before we get our chicken out, we're going to coat the chicken thighs in flour. And that's what will also thicken the sauce a bit later on. So just some plain flour. I'm going to throw it in I've got just over 1 kilo of chicken thighs, so that'll be heaps there. Flour, And into the flour we're going to put some salt. A brand new one today because they all stick together up here in North Queensland from the humidity. So plenty of salt there. These Saxa ones really piff it out, eh? Some pepper. Pepper. Next magic ingredient, some garlic powder. Roz said put some garlic powder in. The Yanks use garlic powder on just about everything, don't they? I've noticed, I watch a lot of Yank cook-ups, and when they do their steak, salt, pepper and garlic powder all the time. Garlic powder, and Roz said not too many, just some mixed herbs, or herbs as the Yanks say, herbs, they don't pronounce the H. A few mixed herbs through, not too many. Righto, and I'll get a little plastic thing here and mix that all through. And I'm going to see if Roz wants to come out. I'm going to bash the chicken a little bit, dunk it in there, and then just brown the chicken off and put it in another silver tray. So brown the chicken off. The good thing about the poikie, because you're not allowed to stir it, you just brown the chicken off, then you just basically throw everything in there and leave it. But we don't want to, I think we need the poikie nice and hot for frying the chicken, but when we actually put all the rest of the stuff in, we don't want it too hot then. Let your charcoal burn down a bit, and we want it to cook nice and slow then. But we need the charcoal nice and hot to brown the chicken off. So that's mixed enough now. I'll go and see if Roz wants to come out and do the chicken, otherwise I might have to, what she likes to do too is get a tenderizer, and with the thighs, any of the thick pieces, just bash them a little bit just to make sure the thigh's all the same thickness all the way through so it cooks evenly. Rightio. So Roz said, get out there Rogers and do it yourself. So I am. She said, flatten it down a little bit with a tenderizer. This is my second beer in about 2 and a bit weeks, guys. I lost 3 kilos on my diet, now I'm going to bung it all back on in one day. Rice and a few beers, back on she goes. Back to square one. Anyway, stiff shit. So I've just cut the chicken thigh in half, bashed it down a little bit into our flour. Could have sieved that, I suppose. Just put a bit of that in there. Flour. That one over there. I'll get another one out. I'll give you a demo of another one, and then you don't need to see me do the whole lot there. You can use chicken breast, guys, but everyone always says, oh, thigh's better, it's got more flavour. I know in Thai cooking and that, Nongi, my sister-in-law, she always used thighs, very rarely breast. Whereas the chicken thigh, you've got more flavour, I reckon. Just flatten them down so they're pretty well the same size. Other side. One side's a bit fatter than the other. Into the flour, coat him up. There, another one in. And I can make a mess, let me tell you. Alright, you get the idea. I'm going to do the rest, get them in the flour, and then we'll start frying them up in the poikie, which I've put over the charcoal to get nice and hot. Rightio, time to fry off the chicken. We'll get some oil in there. Probably a bit too much. Didn't have any olive oil, so I'm just using vegetable oil, that'll do. The old wind's off tap. So, yep, there she goes. So what I'm going to do now, guys, is, oh yeah, that chicken's straight in there, and we're just going to brown it off. We're not cooking it, we're browning it off. I'll get 4 or 5 pieces in at a time into the bottom of the poikie. Probably get one more in. Here we go, another one in there. Couple of minutes each side, and then I'll flip them over. So there's plenty of heat in there. Starting to, the oil's certainly hot enough from the charcoal underneath. Rightio, so we don't want to overcook the chicken, guys, because that's going to be simmering away in the sauce and that a little bit later on. So all the flour seems to have fallen off the outside. That's all right. Sizzle that up. Just brown on the outside a little bit. Righto. That's still pretty hot, so I might in with another 5. Or 6. Righto, that one can go in the middle. Probably could have let that oil come up the heat a bit, but she's still bubbling. Righto, let's sizzle that stuff up. Righto, so we're going to leave that oil in the bottom there. It's going to have flour in it, so into the oil goes just a sliced brown onion, large brown onion. Still plenty of heat in that oil. So we're not stirring yet. What we're going to do is just brown the onion off. I'm sure I'm allowed to do this high, aren't I? Just brown the onion off to start with. Brown that onion, and Roz said to put some garlic in. How many, Roz? Just a nice big spoon of garlic like that. I've cheated, I've got the minced garlic. Righto. Just make sure that garlic and onions all mixed together there. Righto. Give that a minute or so and we'll come back. Righto, next item, some Dijon mustard. Oh, Master Foods, that's the good one. Big spoon, Roz?
Yeah.
Big spoon of Dijon, in he goes.
Not 2 spoons.
And this is like a chicken stock, this thing here. It's like a chicken stock jelly and it dissolves through. Roz loves using these things. So, just squeeze them out. Out he comes like a big blob of jelly. And what we'll do is just give that a little, before we get going, Hein. I hope I'm allowed to do this at least, Hein, for now. At least just get that chicken stock melting through. Oh, geez, that's smelling good, Roz. The onion, the garlic, the Dijon mustard, and the chicken stock will melt through there now. Righto. So, next magic ingredient, 600 mils of cream. In that goes. And the next magic ingredient. Now, we're not going to need all this, and guess what's going to happen to the rest of it, Roz? Bit of bloody Pinot Grigio, whatever that is. Just some white wine. How much, Roz?
Put in the cream bottle.
Yeah, I'm going to. How much?
Not a lot.
You tell me when.
Enough.
Enough? Right. And then tip the wine in there. What I'm going to do, Hein, before we put the chicken and the mushrooms in, mate, is I'm just going to make sure that's together like that. Don't want to separate the cream so it doesn't all stick on the bottom. Righto, Ros, what now? Ros said poikies are no good for me because I like sitting here doing shit and stirring, and she said you're not allowed to stir the poikie. So anyway, the next thing is in with the chicken, Ros. Actually, I'll gently put the chicken in like this, which we've kind of semi-cooked in some flour. Just make sure all the chicken gets under the liquid. There's over 1 kilo of chicken here, guys, if you're wondering. 1.1 kilograms, which is what, a bit over, just under about 2.5 pounds if you're over in America. 2.2 pound to a kilo. We work in kilos over here. Righto, still a fair bit of chicken there. I'll just make sure it's all submerged. And the good thing is a little bit of the heat's gone out of the heat beads now, everyone. So that, I'll put that chicken juice in too, Ros. Tip him in. Righto. So, chicken submerged. Righto, a big packet of sliced mushrooms. Make sure I don't get any Glad wrap in there, any cling wrap. In they go, sprinkle them in on top. Righto. Make sure we level all them out. And what they'll do is they'll basically dissolve into the liquid. Okie doke. On with the lid, and now I'm not allowed to stir it from now on, Hein.
That's going to be hard.
Ross said that's going to be hard. I know it will, because I love stirring shit. So there's still some heat in those heat beads, but it's up off them, so hopefully it's not going to be too hot. You don't want it too hot, because we do want to try and slow cook this. If I hear it bubbling away and it's getting too hot, I'll just lift it up, take it off, and I'll wait till the heat dies out of those heat beads a bit. But anyway, lid on, and I will not stir that, I promise, Hein. Righto, poikie, do your thing. Righto, so poikie's on. I think the trick there, I think I've got the heat right. We had a bit more heat in the heat beads when I was just frying the chicken up, but we don't want it scorching hot now. There's still a lot of heat coming out of them heat beads. Listen, this is where it just comes from experience, I guess, guys. You just keep an eye on it, feel the thing. If you can hear that just bubbling too much inside, or just cooking too violently or too quickly, take it off, let your charcoal burn down a bit, and then put it back on. But I think that might be okay. A little bit of heat going out of the charcoal now. As I said, I think the trick with a poikie is you cook it over a longer time. I remember Hein doing one once down at, where it was, I forget where it was, Hein. And Hein had his poikie on for ages. And I think it was over gas. I think gas is obviously the easiest way to control your temperature. When you're cooking with charcoal and fire and that, it's a lot more challenging, as you know. But that's what makes it bloody fun too, is when you nail a feed over fire and charcoal, it just seems so much more satisfying, doesn't it, than when you do it with gas. Okay, so I'm going to do the rice with gas, and I'll do that shortly on my new contraption there. But anyway, I'll just stay out here. Ros has disappeared. I was going to pour her a wine and she's gone. But we've got builders at the moment, guys, renovating the shower. So I think Ros is over talking to them and that. They're doing a fantastic job too. We've been without a shower now for a week and a half. Doesn't mean we haven't had a shower. I didn't say that. I might do a clip tomorrow morning and show you what we've been doing, so that the three of us, me, Ros, and Ros's son Jamil, who's living with us at the moment, what we've been doing to have a hot shower at night. I'll give you a look at that, and it's always a pretty cool setup. It's doing the trick anyway, and it's bloody, all three of us are getting a shower in the afternoon, nice warm shower, and it's doing the trick nicely. I'll do a separate clip on that one, eh? Anyway, I'll just stay out here. This is a good excuse to stay in the shed and keep an eye on it and have another beer. I'm allowed to have a beer now. My 2 weeks of the diet's up, so I'm back into the beers. Righto. Hey, just quickly heading down to Townsville on Thursday. It's Tuesday today. Townsville Chiefs playing in a competition gala, down in Townsville Friday, Saturday. So I'm going to go down. I'm a reserve water boy, guys. I'm not playing. Going to run the water. My body's not up to playing footy anymore, but I'm going to go down and support the boys, be around the lads for a couple of days, and bloody, there's about 15, 16 teams coming from all around the place. So it'll be good. It'll be good to catch up with all my old mates and that from the Townsville Chiefs. Yeah, you can feel that now, starting to get some nice heat in there. Not so much on the lid, but you can feel the heat coming up the side there. So it is slowly warming through, and that's how you want it. I think the trick's not to overcook a poikie. So that's how I want it, guys. Just slow simmer. You don't want it boiling its ass off. Just a nice slow simmer. Hey guys, someone the other day sent me a message, said, "Buck, what's Roz's rice method?" And I said, it's easy. You just pour rice into a pot, give it a rinse, and then cover it with water to the first knuckle. I'll show you how we do it. So none of this 1 cup, 2 cup, whatever. And this works, this method works whether you use 1 cup of rice or 20 cups of rice, because if you use 20 cups of rice, you need more water to get to the first knuckle, if you know what I mean. So it all equates itself out. So I'm just going to pour in that's a fair bit of rice. I'm going to fill him up. Put some water in, and with clean hands, or if you've got dirty hands, this washes them anyway. Give your rice a rinse. Gets a bit of the starch and that out. Basmati's not too bad. Your white rice seems to have a lot of starch and that. Give it a mix. I usually do it a bit longer than that, but because we're on camera, I'll just, so you can see a bit of the starch in the water now. Pour most of it out. Righto, so flatten your rice out, and then let it all settle. Make sure your rice is all flat. And what we're looking for is you put your finger in the water, and the water's got to come to the first knuckle. At the moment it's probably to the top of my nail, so I need a little bit more water. Water, not water. Probably just a smidgen more. So I put my finger in, bottom of my finger touches the rice, and the water's up to the top of my first knuckle, guys. That's how much water you need when you cook rice. We'll go in and put it on the cooker. Rightio, so I love cooking in cast iron. I reckon it's the best way to do your rice. So what I'm going to do now, and turn this on, turn my gas bottle on, and up he goes. On a medium heat, on goes the camp oven. So the trick here is you don't want to go on full bore, because this pumps out some heat. Just on a medium heat, and what I'm going to do is slowly bring this to the boil. And as soon as it starts boiling or start bubbling, what I'm going to do is give it 1 stir and 1 stir only. This thing here, you can actually give 1 stir, unlike the poikie, no stirs. So we're going to give it 1 stir, Then I'm going to turn the heat right down, put the lid on, and then leave it. That is the trick. And then we'll come back and we'll see if I've nailed it. But every time I've done the basmati rice or any rice in the camp oven using this method, it's worked out really well, guys. I think with white rice, give it a really good rinse, get that starch off it, or whatever that white stuff's called. So we'll bring that to the boil. Just as it starts bubbling, I'm going to give it one quick mix, turn it right down to nice and low, and then put the lid on and leave it. And what happens then, the water evaporates, soaks into the rice puffs up, cooks, becomes nice and fluffy, and you'll kind of know. You can put a chopstick or something in, and if it comes out nice and dry on the bottom, you know the water's evaporated. You don't want to overdo it or you'll stick the rice to the bottom of the camp oven. Rightio, so I'll come back just as it's starting to boil, starting to simmer I should say. Give it one stir, turn it right down using the knob here, and then just simmer it on a really low heat with the lid on. I tell you what, these are a great little cooker. They're bloody maple fire or something. They're a great little bit of kit, they really are. About half hour in, I've taken the lid off, guys, because it was a bit watery, so I want it to thicken up now. I want to get a fairly thick sauce with the chicken. All the mushrooms are melting down and going into the liquid, and that's how you want it, just a nice slow simmer. Hey, just had a little mishap. I was sitting there and the flame went out on this and there's no wind or anything. I thought, what's going on? Gas in the gas bottle. I moved the gas bottle so I can get my fingers close when I'm filming. And what I did is I kinked that lead, that braided lead, guys. So if you do get one of these things, make sure the braided line is nice and straight. Don't kink it or put a bend in it, because it does restrict the gas flow to there. As soon as I straightened the line out, it was back to normal again. So there you go. I'll know that for next time. Rightio, you can see there now, we've got some bubbles coming through the rice. So it's just starting to boil. What I'm going to do now is give it a mix with me spork. Give it one mix. This is the only time you stir rice, is now. Make sure it's all even. Giving it a stir. First and final stir. All bets are off. Lid on. And now I'm going to get this right down nice and low. A little bit lower. Probably go even lower, I reckon. Still getting used to this. All right, we don't want it to go out. Nice and low now. So that's, bring it to the boil, give it a stir, lid on, down as low as you can get it so it's like a real slow simmer, and leave it. Do not touch it. Bit like the poikie. Nice low flame. A nice slow simmer on the chicken and mushrooms. Rightio, so it's been about 20 minutes, I reckon, if that, and I just quickly took the lid off with Bobby Ass's bloody lifter he made me. Bobby made that with his own bare hands, guys. So I'm going to take it off now, and what I did is I put this there right down the bottom of the rice and just pulled it back a bit. And usually you can see if there's still water in the bottom, keep it going. Put the lid back on, keep it going. You can use a chopstick too, if the bottom of the chopstick's got water on it. But a good way to do it is just take it off like this, using Bobby's little hook. And you can see the rice is fluffed up beautifully, it really has. Put it in the middle, just pull it back a little bit. And I can't see any water down there, so what I'm going to do now is turn the gas right off, so that's not going to burn the bottom and that. You can put the lid back on. And let that rice keep steaming. And you can keep that on for half an hour now. If you don't eat for another half an hour, that rice will still be hot. Put the lid back on, just let it sit there, and it keeps steaming, but it doesn't burn. And yeah, I'm going to leave that for another 15. We still got the workers are still here with they're doing a bit of overtime today, guys. Try and get the floor tiles done in the bathroom. So I'll just let that sit there for another 15, 20. Might have another glass of wine, and I'll go over and check the what are we going to call that? Chicken and mushroom. Check out that's going. I just checked it then. I've kept the lid off because it was a little bit watery. I kept the lid off, and it's starting to thicken up a bit because of all the flour in the bottom. And I reckon in about 20 minutes, half an hour, everything will still be beautiful and hot. We'll be ready to eat. We'll do the taste test. What do you reckon? Just so you know, I'm not full of shit, guys. Take the lid off with Bobby's thing. Look at that. And all I did, look how beautiful and fluffy the basmati rice is. All I did is put that down the middle, look down the bottom, no water. So I've turned the gas off, and I'm just going to keep the lid on now. Keep the lid on. That keeps steaming. It's not going to burn. It's not going to overcook now because there's no gas on. And I reckon half an hour, that'll still be beautiful and hot. Just let that keep steaming. That's the beauty. That is the beauty of having cast iron. But people say, but cast iron or spun steel? Cast iron every time. But when you're on a trip, weight comes into a thing, doesn't it? But at home, cast iron every day of the week. That's starting to thicken up nicely. And as I said, we want some sauce there to go over the rice, some zura as they call it in Torres Strait, some zura. But I reckon that's going to be absolutely beautiful. Righto, we're nearly there. This here is just still simmering away. I haven't added any more charcoal onto that, guys, and it's still slowly simmering that chicken and mushroom, and it's just perfect, like half or just over a chimney of that coconut charcoal, and it had enough in it to just sizzle the chicken up at the start and then sit there for an hour or so. It's been over an hour, and do this chicken and mushroom. So it's you know, there's still a bit of heat in there, and it's still simmering it slowly there. Took the lid off after about 20 minutes, half an hour, because it was just, the steam just makes it a bit watery. Wanted to thicken it up a bit, and it's done that beautifully. So rice is ready to go. I think, Ros, we ready?
Where's the rice?
The rice is done. Ros is looking at me go, we ready, Rogers? We ready to eat? We are. I think we're ready to serve up. So stand by for the taste test. Hey, before I lose light, it's still late afternoon. Builders are still here, guys. I think they're about to go. I just want to do the taste test before it turns dark, and then I'll finish the clip up, and then Ros and Jamil can come out and eat once the builders are gone. But I'll do a quick serve up. Righto. Thanks, Bobby, for that. It's a bloody beauty. Jesus, come in handy. So what I'm going to do, couple of spoons of basmati rice. Look at that. There you go. Proof's in the pudding, guys. Look at that. Look how fluffy that rice has come out. And that's the old one knuckle method. Roz's one knuckle method, guys. Tonky, you'd know all about that, mate, the one knuckle method. There you go. That's way too much rice. How am I? I've been on a diet for 2 weeks and now I've already put about 8 kilos of rice on my plate. We'll go over and we'll get a different spoon and we'll serve up the chicken and mushroom stuff, eh? So this is slowly simmering away now. We haven't stirred it. All I've done, guys, is pat the top down just to make sure all the mushrooms and everything were submerged in the liquid. But what I'm going to do now is give it a quick stir. Can I give it a stir now, Hein? Just to make sure everything's right to go. And I'm going to serve up. Here we go. Nice piece of chicken there. Oh, look at that. Another bit of chicken, a little bit of chicken there. One more bit of chicken, that'll do me for chicken. Now let's get some sauce and mushroom. Look at that. The zura, the sauce. There you go. Rightio. Look at that. Let's do the taste test. Rightio. So there we go. Roz's famous chicken and mushroom oop-de-doop, whatever it's called, I don't know, we haven't even got a name for it. Chicken and mushroom bloody poikie, that's what we'll call it. Roz's chicken and mushroom poikie, done in the South African poikie. Let's do a taste test before we get too dark here. And I haven't tried it, to be honest guys, I have not tried this. Maybe it needs a bit of salt and pepper, I don't know. We put salt and pepper in the flour, remember? The rice is good. The rice is good. Basmati rice is my favourite. Out of all of them, brown, white, basmati, I don't know what other type of rices you can get, but basmati is beautiful. It goes with anything, especially curries. That sauce is beautiful. And I'm not saying that. The sauce is bloody beautiful. And you know what I reckon makes the sauce? The Dijon mustard. That Dijon mustard makes that sauce. Wow. If you don't like mushrooms, guys, you probably won't like this. It's got that mushroom flavour. Never used to eat mushrooms as a young fella, but now I like them. But I'll tell you what, that creamy Dijon white wine sauce. Righto. Oh, the chicken's just falling apart. Yeah, sometimes you got to rip chicken apart. I just put my fork into that chicken and it was like a pulled chicken. If you can, you know, like pulled pork and that's how it fell away. Oh wow, this is nice. Don't tell Roz, I reckon this is as nice as hers. Done in Jack Turtle's poikie. Oh, look at it. The chicken's just, look at that. The chicken's just falling apart. It is bloody beautiful. I might have to crack another bottle of white wine to celebrate. Yeah, I'm not just saying this because I cooked it. This is bloody nice. Oh, look at that. The chicken's just tender as. It's bloody hot, but. I'm surprised Rafa's not under me feet. Going, Dad, come on, drop a bit of chicken on the ground. There you go. Boy, oh boy. I'm going to do the double thumbs up for that one. That worked out good. I'm not just saying that. If it was shit, I'd tell you guys, you know me. That is nice. I can't remember what I did first time in the poikie. That's my second ever cook up in Jack Turtle's poikie, guys, which he got from Aldi in Harvey Bay. Can you believe that? Wish we had Aldi up here. Aldi come up with some bloody good stuff every now and then. We don't have them up here in far north Queensland. The sooner they get up here, the better, because they have some bloody pretty good shit. Camping gear and, you know, cooking gear and all that. I'll tell you what, that's a good camp feed, guys, and a good backyard feed, and a good feed for the whole family. Rice, chicken, and it's mushrooms, and a few ingredients. That's a cheap feed too, which is good. That is a very cheap feed. Chicken thigh, which is, it's certainly cheaper than red meat, isn't it? So there you go, give it a go. Let me know what you reckon. A lot of people out there going, Buck, do more cook-ups. Well, there's one. I've got a couple more coming too, guys, some real good ones. Let me tell you, some real good cook-ups coming up. Let me know what you reckon. If you want to see me do some backyard cook-ups, go in the comment section. Let me know what you reckon I should have a crack at, and I'll have a crack at it. If it sounds good, I'll have a crack at it. I can only stuff it up, eh? When you're cooking in the backyard, who cares? That is nice. Might have some exciting news to tell everyone soon. Not going to let the cat out of the bag yet. Not going to let the cat out of the bag at all. But don't want to count my chickens before they hatch. Something exciting might be happening soon in relation to camping. Anyway, take care, look after each other, and please, because I got the shits and threw the old channel in, which had 23,000 subscribers, I'm now down to 1.4. Hit the subscribe button, everyone. Let's get it back up there, where it belongs, I reckon. And keep your eye out on my live feeds, everyone. I'm going to start doing some more live feeds, usually Saturday nights now that the footy's coming to an end. Keep an eye out Saturday night, 7:30 for Mrbuckaroonie live feeds. We'll talk about anything. And I want to try and get some special guests on and all that type of stuff. Get the community up and running again. Maybe do some charity stuff down the line. Looking forward to seeing all you guys at the Legends Camp up in August next year. Down near Warwick. Really looking forward to catching up everyone on that. And as I said, could be some exciting news leading up to that camping event. We'll see what happens anyway. No promises. I'll let you know when it happens, eh? Right. Be good to each other and bloody get out and have a crack at this, because it is very, very nice. See you later, everyone. Oh yeah. Double thumbs up for that one.